There he
Whoa,
is.
thanks, Candice.
Quickly microphone up and we'll introduce you to
there.
the people.
Okay.
Well done. So you are the creator of the Perth Bridal Show.
Correct.
What made you want to set up this format?
Well, basically, when you're advertising on Facebook or when you're trying to look for a wedding supplier, if you're a bride, you go on various little groups. And for wedding suppliers, you don't get a lot of sort of...
There's not a lot of choice out there.
Well,
you don't learn about everyone in one easy place.
And also, all you really get is a little picture of the person, and you get a little written thing. So you can't really meet them until you physically go and go to their property, or they come to you.
Or you see them at an expo, for example.
Exactly.
And that's not always the most comfortable environment for people to meet people.
No. So basically on this show, the big advantage you've got is you can sort of meet the people. Like, originally I'm a wedding videographer. So if I'm a wedding videographer, people can now see me on the show. They can say, oh, he sounds like a good guy. So,
yeah, I think you're a good guy.
So, oh, very good. So basically that is the idea. And also, because it goes out to so many brides, a wedding supplier can actually have contact a lot more brides than normal there.
I think it's really important that people get a sense of who they're dealing with. I mean, let's be real, you're going to hand over some money, and sometimes a significant amount of money, to people depending on the size of your ceremony. And you really want to make sure that you get a good vibe from the person. Do they share similar values to you? Have they done a similar ceremony before? Do they know what they're talking about? And this is going to give you, I mean, excuse a little bit of nervousness on the part of some people who haven't been in broadcast before, but you'll get a real sense that these are real people. You know, these are people who run often small businesses here locally. We're all about supporting local business, and I mean, this has been a concept that you've wanted to do for decades.
Well, we basically started off in 2014, and doing live broadcast was impractical at that sort of stage. So we decided we'll shelve it for a little, but then being able to look to live broadcast came to be practical and economical as well. So that is why we reintroduced it in 2016.
Why not? Better late than never, we say.
Well,
now the technology's here, which is wonderful. I mean, you are sitting at home or wherever you are. You could be in your car, hopefully not driving. You are literally anywhere in the world, and you can see what's going on. You could be overseas and wanting to come to Perth for a destination wedding, and why wouldn't you? One of the most beautiful places in the world. So you are a wedding videographer by trade, and your lovely wife, Val, is working with your business also?
A photographer,
yes. So you're really a dream team. You do both things.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, photographers, people often, you know, one of the first things you book is your photographer. You really want to have the right photographer for the job.
Well, that's right. You know, the point is you book a photographer sight unseen, and suddenly you find he's a horrible guy, he's rude, or even a horrible lady, and she's abrupt, and she says, I'm going to do this my way. And that's something you don't want. But if you can watch the show and see them talking to you, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So that was basically the concept of the show.
So photographers go without saying. Pretty much everyone who's going to have a wedding is going to want to capture memories in some way. Photographers go without saying. You want beautiful photos, beautiful memories. But one thing, I'm a fairly new bride myself, one thing that a lot of people are considering, particularly when they're budget conscious, is, do I really need a video? What would you say to any brides and grooms out there who are kind of a little bit on the edge as to whether they're going to hire a videographer as well?
Simple. Do it.
Well, of course you're going to say that, but
I know.
But why? But what makes? I mean, do people watch their videos after the fact? How do people use them? What? I mean, it's different to seeing a photograph, isn't it? You really relive it.
It is different, but then again, you've got to remember, a video, as far as people say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
So true.
So you can imagine what a video is worth. But the thing we are trying to convince couples to do now is go easy on the wedding. Your wedding, for instance, was in Hawaii.
Hawaii.
No reception.
Nope.
Just a ceremony.
Yep.
And for me, that is the important part of the wedding. I mean, do you really want to spend an hour sitting in front of the TV watching all your drunk friends who cost you 25 grand worth of food and drink? No.
Yeah.
So that part of the wedding often isn't that important, but the ceremony part is critical.
Honestly,
No,
truly.
That is an important part of the wedding. So we try to concentrate on people having smaller weddings, and most probably the guests after me will tell you what a pop-up wedding is.
Sure.
But they do say a pop-up wedding, which is really a ceremony, a little photo shoot, a couple of nibblies and drinks, and
super simple.
Boom, you've gone. And the money you save, you put on your mortgage.
Or don't get into debt is another
That's
option
right.
as well. I mean, people who are getting married are often at certain stages of their life where they're making a lot of big financial commitments.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be a big financial commitment in order to get married, really. To have a beautiful ceremony, a pop-up wedding or something like that is a very, very feasible option, especially when, and I know one of our guests has a local, very local venue that she likes to use, so we'll have a chat about that in a moment. Getting back to the video, one thing as someone who got married and did have a video for my wedding, but my vows and the actual words said in the ceremony were not covered. And do you think I can remember actually what I said on the day? I have a vague memory that I promised a bunch of stuff, but I couldn't tell you exactly what my words were. And I really feel like if I had had that part of the ceremony captured in a beautiful way, that even if it was only 30 seconds of the main vow section, that would be a nice thing to have.
It would. And most brides that we'll contact after a wedding, they'll say to me, the whole thing went by in a flash. I don't remember what happened. And
well, you kind of do, but mostly not. Especially if you have a few drinks at the reception, right?
But even on the ceremony, they said my mind was totally out of this world.
It's such a build-up.
Yes, I was getting married. I didn't know what was going to happen. And the only thing they might remember is if they make a little boo-boo.
Of course, and you beat yourself up like nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, your advice for people who, on the day, if something goes wrong, you're a wedding vendor. I know the people in this room who we're going to be speaking to will bend over backwards to ease over any little problems for you.
Well, I'll tell you one of the commonest ones, and that's a celebrant will do a wedding, pop the CD that the bride has given her into the PA system, and started off, and halfway down the aisle, the music stops.
Whoa.
And I always say to the bride, don't worry about it. Keep walking.
Absolutely.
Because if you keep walking, we can always put the music in your video again, and it's not going to mess things up. But stop and basically have a panic attack. That doesn't happen. So just keep walking. We can basically fix it. It's so easy. As
a videographer and a photography business merged into one, you're all about capturing moments.
Yes.
Which is your favourite moment to capture? Where do you get the little warm and fuzzy feeling? For me, it's the first look.
For me, not.
Okay.
Basically what happens, we normally capture the ceremony. We capture the congratulations. The congratulations tend to be a little bit boring. Then people like you who are a celebrant disappear, and we normally take the bridal party and we do a very romantic video shoot for the bridal party, all in slow motion, set to their favorite song.
Yes.
And that is nice because it's basically the first break they've had since the panic of getting ready, the panic of getting to the ceremony, the panic of getting through the ceremony.
Yeah.
And they can actually say, oh, we can relax now.
Right.
It's over. The first part anyway.
For sure.
So very, 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 very important there.
Of course, if you have any questions for Chris or Val, you can call them after this broadcast, or you can ask them right now. We've got phone numbers. You can call or text, or you can leave us a comment right here on the live stream, or afterwards. This stream doesn't go away, so you can write a comment. Granted, someone will see it at some point, and we'll be very happy to get back to you if you have any questions. One of the most awkward questions that people get asked, and I know that this is something people out there are going to want to know, how much should people budget for a video and or photography package? I mean, how long's a piece of string, really? But ballpark, how much of the budget should be allocated on really capturing those important memories?
Sadly, there is a very bad attitude towards the word wedding.
Yeah, there is.
The moment people see wedding, yes,
yeah,
triple the price because it's a wedding. And that's something that we don't do.
Right.
No, if we do a commercial shoot, it's the same price as the wedding shoot, and I must probably get shot from other photographers, because I've seen photographers alone charging $3,000. But we basically do photography and video for under $2,000.
Great.
And we include a little photo booth as well.
Wonderful.
So
that's a full day service, really.
It's a full day service, and I mean, and it's fun.
Of course it's fun.
Val behind the camera says, it's fun.
Yeah, well, there you go. Ringing endorsement from the other partner in crime too, which is a wonderful thing.
The point is, it is fun, it's great, and if we don't enjoy ourselves,
you're in the wrong industry if you don't enjoy it.
Then we are in the wrong industry.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, I've seen brides who've come up and spent $1,000 on a wedding cake.
Yeah.
And I think, holy Moses, how can you spend $5,000, $1,000 on a wedding cake?
It's, and every different strokes for different folks, as they say.
But I've had other brides who have said to me, I wasn't prepared to spend that much money. I went to the cheesecake shop.
Fine.
I bought 3 white mud cakes, 2 little trestles, and it cost me $150.
DIY weddings are something that is really, really popping up, and I'll probably explore that a little bit more with our wedding planner and our wedding stylist a little bit later on. But if people want to contact you, Chris, how can they get in touch?
On the Perth Bridal Show, we've also got a page called Wedding Video Productions.
Lots of cool stuff on there too.
And there's a lot of stuff on there.
That's Facebook, isn't it?
That is Facebook.
Wedding Video Productions,
and,
look them up.
Between the next 2 guests, we actually run an ad there for ourselves, and there is a phone number and a Facebook address there too. So
wonderful. So you can actually see how they promote themselves. Obviously, they're going to do some of their very best work in promoting themselves. So you can get a sense of what Chris and Val are capable of, and their work is great. Can heartily recommend, and absolutely appreciate you setting up this wonderful format and giving us vendors a platform to talk to people like yourself, which is really great, and also meet other vendors, which is a really important thing. I expect there are a lot of vendors out there watching at the moment, just tentatively seeing how we're going.
Yeah, well, the point is, if I go on a Facebook group and do a post and say, I can do weddings for so much, it will stay on Facebook for maybe
a couple of hours.
Then it's gone.
Yeah, it's
then
gone.
People have to scroll down to find it.
And they're not going to, be realistic.
And if you go there 3 days later, there's probably 30, 40 people at the most have looked at it.
Sure.
With this format, you can have hundreds of people looking at the same thing and meeting you live. Yeah. And you've got that sort of attitude.
Right, and you lose nothing. If you get bookings, awesome. If you don't, you lose nothing.
Exactly. No, so it does make a huge difference from our side. And no, that's basically what we're trying to achieve.
From the show point of view, if there are any vendors who want to get in touch about possibly appearing on the show in coming episodes, would they contact you through the Perth Bridal Show Facebook page?
Straight
or
on.
they can leave a comment probably below here as well?
They can.
Yeah, great.
They can.
Lots of options.
But normally on the Perth Bridal Show, important thing about the show is once it's finished, while we are broadcasting it, we're also recording it.
Right.
So
it doesn't go away.
If, as a lot of people, like my friend Richard Mogford, the photographer, I know he's not watching because he told me he's not going to watch.
Well, how rude.
But there's a reason. His team is playing today, and the footy comes first.
Obviously, unless he's getting paid for a wedding, hopefully.
No. That's the way Richard works.
Okay.
But basically, any bride can still go back to the show anytime and watch it. So if you happen to want to celebrate and you found out that episode 1 had the great Julie Chesson on it,
she is great.
And you want to see how Julie...
how she presents herself.
Exactly, how she comes over and whether you should book her. You can go back, we may be on episode 6, and you can go back to episode 1 on the site, and you can say, I want to watch this and see.
Right, and if someone doesn't float your boat, then at least you can see that before you organise a meeting with them, before you feel pressured into handing over any money, or before you've wasted your own time and the vendors. So this is really a streamlined process, which is what I really like about it.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you for your time, Chris.
My pleasure.
We look forward to chatting to you again, and hopefully this format really takes off.
We should hope so.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris and Val. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the bridal format just as Julie makes her way onto the couch. Julie is a marriage celebrant from A Love Story, and we look forward to chatting to her. Here she is. So the format itself, as I said before, is the Bridal Expo show. We bring vendors in, like Julie, to have a chat to us every single fortnight, I believe. Our next one will be 3 weeks away, but keep an eye on the page. We'll tell you when the upcoming episodes are and who will be on there, of course. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, Candice.
Yay! Yay! 2 celebrants on the couch, which is really cool.
Hello, everyone.
We're not going to get too into the nitty-gritty of things because we realise that a lot of people out there haven't booked a whole bunch of stuff yet, or if you have, then you're looking for some more information. So, Julie, you're from Julie Chesson is from A Love Story. What a beautiful name for a business. So you are a marriage celebrant, and you've been around for a while. You're very experienced at what you do.
Since 2010.
Right, so that's a good solid 6 years of experience in the can, which is great, and lots of weddings. I've seen your work. I love what you do. Certainly someone for me as a newish celebrant to look up to. When a couple first makes an inquiry of you, what's the first step? So someone will either message you on Facebook or send you a text message or get through your website, all sorts of things, and I'll tell you how to contact Julie in just a moment. What's the first step?
Normally they'll either send me an email or they'll give me a call, and if they do that, I'm happy to give them all my prices, and then I usually follow it through with an email and give them details about what we offer and what we can offer and how much we charge and what sort of happens on the day. Then the next step is for them to come and meet with me.
Yeah.
And also meet with my roadie, my husband Keith. Keith and I do this full-time together. So Keith left his full-time job in November 2014.
Fabulous.
And this is all we do.
And you're very, very busy at the moment, which is a wonderful problem
Yes.
to have. I understand you're going to take a very quick break to go
break.
overseas and come right back and be serving the wedding community again, which is wonderful. Once people have had that initial meeting with you and they love you, because of course they love you, there is a very important piece of paperwork that people need to fill out. What's the first one?
So notice of intended marriage, and to do that I can do all that on my software package for them. So they just need to bring either their passports or their birth certificates, their driver's license, and if they've been married before, they'll need to bring their final divorce papers. I complete it all for them, and then I witness their signatures, and then that stays with me. A lot of people think that we lodge it or we do something with it, and we don't. We actually keep it in our file. And that doesn't go to the Attorney General or births, deaths and marriages. It doesn't go to them until the ceremony is actually over, until the wedding's over, and then it will go with the certificate of marriage, and that gets posted that day.
Wonderful. Now I can see you've got a wonderful badge on there, the AFCC. You have
That's
a lot
right.
to do with the Australian Federation of Civil Celebrants. I'm a member myself and can definitely recommend. So if people are looking for a celebrant through the AFCC, what does the AFCC offer brides and grooms out there when it comes to dealing with a member celebrant? So
certainly.
Yeah.
I'm actually the National Marketing Manager for the AFCC now, and I'm really proud to say we've got over 1,800 members, and within the next few months I would imagine that would go up to nearly 2,000.
Fantastic.
And that's nationally, that's Australia-wide. And by booking a AFCC celebrant, not only do they have insurance, they have public liability and public indemnity, they also have copyright insurance, they also have, the other thing that's really important is that they're having ongoing development all the time.
Yeah.
All celebrants have to do 5 hours of OPD, as you know.
Yes.
year.
Mine's next week.
And
Through AFCC.
That's right, through AFCC at a really discounted rate.
Yes.
But also you've got that networking ability. So, and we have networking meetings and things where all the celebrants get together. The other thing that I really like about being an AFCC member is if something was to happen to me, which heaven help it never does.
Fingers crossed and knocking on wood.
If I was to have a car accident or something happen, we've got all those other members that can step in and help out if need be.
Absolutely. And
really good.
marriages are very complex legal situations often, especially if someone is perhaps widowed or divorced or has children. There are forms that really need to be quite specifically filled out. So if there is a problem as an AFCC member celebrant, we can quickly send a message to some other people and get some advice before, you know,
Exactly.
causing a problem for you, which is a really wonderful thing as well.
Exactly. We've got 10 members on our national committee, and they all have a vast range of experience, and we have a legal and ethics manager that actually looks after any legal issues as well, which is really good.
Really, really good. Now, something that sets you apart as a celebrant, other than your wonderful skill set, and you've got Keith who's with you all the time, you've got lots of reasons why people should come and at least get a quote from you. Very upfront about pricing, which not everybody is.
No.
It's a choice that you make. Is that you have your own venue.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
We have our own beautiful little chapel within our home, and it's got high ceilings, cathedral ceilings. It's got a beautiful big chandelier. It's got the ceiling drapes that come down, and you can come and get married in our little chapel anytime that you like. You can come and get married during the day. You can have an evening ceremony, and we offer that to our couples free of charge. The only charge that we charge for our legal weddings is $355.
Yep, great.
Which is even less than the registry office.
It's very, and you're waiting at least 6 months for a booking at the registry office, because as Chris and I were speaking about before, the pop-up wedding trend is really driven by people not wanting to spend lavish amounts of money on a ceremony, though it's perfectly fine if you choose to. You know, you can get this done quickly and cheaply and still make that public declaration of love and all of these wonderful financial and legal benefits of being married, as well as the societal and beautiful commitment side of being married. But you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. You can go and visit Julie at her home. Though you call it a chapel, it doesn't necessarily have to be a religious experience.
No, not at all. And we have an outside area by the pool as well. We have a beautiful little gazebo. And so all of our ceremonies that we do, whether they're off-site or whether they're at our house, they're all personalised for our couples.
Of course.
And our couples get to choose what music they want. So I download it for them, and I put it onto my iPod, and Keith plays it through our big sound system on the day. So as Chris was saying before, a lot of the times you'll have a family or a friend that will have to do the music.
Right.
If they put the wrong song on, you can never get that time back again. That time's gone.
You're briefed. You're there. They know. You know what you're doing. You know what your couple want, and you're there, 100% service.
And if that music stops halfway down, your wedding is the start of your marriage.
Yeah.
You want it to be special. You want it to be perfect.
You want someone who knows the equipment inside out and can quickly make a change and run on the fly if you need to. Though, of course, it was great advice that Chris gave, that if there is a problem, keep going.
Keep going.
It's a show. It's a performance, really, isn't it?
That's right.
Wonderful.
Well, my background's in dancing. I danced since I was 4.
Oh, there you go.
So we were taught that from being really young. You know, if something goes wrong or the curtain closes, you just keep smiling and you keep dancing. You don't stop.
I'm sure you've seen some different things happen in ceremonies over the years.
Yeah,
what are some of your big tips to help a ceremony go swimmingly?
Mainly enjoy it. Don't be nervous. You know, it's going to be over in minutes, so enjoy every single minute. And make sure that you be really careful when you pick your bridal party. Don't pick a bridesmaid that's not going to be there every step of the way for you.
Sure.
It's not about your bridesmaid, it's about you.
That's right.
You want to make sure that you have people that are going to help you on the day and support you.
Wonderful. And I understand you also have a gazebo.
Yes.
Tell me about the gazebo.
Well, the gazebo is out by the pool, and you can have a wedding there during the day, or you can have a wedding at night. And if you have a wedding at night, it has fairy lights everywhere.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's
magic.
just beautiful. It's just, and the pool just glistens, and it's just a beautiful place to be married.
I'm sure it's a lovely place to live too. Whereabouts in the metropolitan area is that venue located? Belden.
Northern suburbs.
Grew up in Belden.
So, and we actually built our house. We built it 30 years ago. So we've brought up 3 children there, and now our grandchildren come and stay.
Yeah.
And they have a bath in the same bath that our children had a bath
Isn't
in.
that really cool? That's a family home right there,
Yes,
isn't
it
it? And
is.
Belden's a really well-established area. It's only really 20, 25 minutes from the city.
That's right.
It's not far. If you want to have your photographs taken at the beach, it's really close to the beach.
That's
a lot of
right.
great parks around, very well-appointed area.
Exactly.
Really great option for anyone who doesn't want to spend a ton of money.
And no parking problems.
No parking problems because you're in the suburbs and you're not bothering anybody.
right.
Easy peasy. Thank you very much for your time today,
No,
Julie. If people
thank
want to
you.
get in touch with you, how can they obtain some more information?
They can have a look on my Facebook page, which is A Love Story, Julie Chesson Civil Celebrant, or they can email me at juliechessonoptusnet.com.au, or they can give me a call on 040 22 00062.
It's a shame I'm already married, but Julie is a great option if you're looking for a celebrant. Can highly recommend. Of course, everyone on the Perth Bridal Show will have their contact details readily available for you. And if you don't manage to catch those, simply ask and we'll be very happy to pass on some contacts. Thank you very much for joining us today, Julie.
Thank you, Candice.
Wonderful. So right now we're going to take a quick break with some words from a sponsor, and we'll be back in around about a minute.
Looking for a great DJ and MC for your wedding? Phil from AAA DJ and MC Services can make your dream a reality with awesome tunes, a separate MC, and mind-blowing lighting. Get hold of Phil on 0409 315 691. As a wedding supplier, wouldn't you want an ad as effective as these ones? Did you know 60% of people prefer watching video than reading text? Audiovisual content engages both sight and sound to create an experience much more immersive and tangible than plain words. That's why television ads are so effective. Having an ad on the show really is an effective way to get to a large audience of brides-to-be to show what you can do for them. Take a look at our website at www.perthbridalshow.com to download our vendor advertising details.
Wonderful, thank you. So again, this is Amela Tajip from Sotti's Events. Hello. We will have her contact details for you very shortly. Now, I'm told that you do wedding styling.
We do.
So what does that mean for people at home who haven't considered hiring a wedding stylist?
It means we take all the pressure and everything away from them, and we execute their dream wedding.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Practically, does that mean that you have a vision for the wedding along with the bride and groom?
At times, most of the time, they already have their vision, they already have their style, but they don't know where to start, and that's where we come in.
Where do you start? Is that a hard question or what?
It is. Starting off is just a simple consultation with them in the wedding.
What are some of the popular trends at the moment when it comes to styling? I see vintage is still big in a big way.
Very, yes. But at the minute, gold.
Gold?
Gold is quite big, yes.
Right.
And it's going to get bigger for the upcoming season.
So some of the things that you use to add a special touch or a special feel, these are elements that you've sourced yourself that you have as part of your events. What are some of the stylistic elements that people can add? I can see love letters are really big at the moment.
They are. Love letter sequence is also big at the minute.
Right.
So bringing it into your linen and into your chair covers, that's quite big.
And you have a team of people who can set up for you well?
I do, yes.
There's no bringing in Auntie May and hoping that she'll show up on time.
Or family sometimes helps, which is great.
Yeah, that can help cut costs too, I'm sure.
Exactly, yes. And also I've got assistant stylists that come and help me as well.
Wonderful. Now, some of your preferred venues, have you really dealt with some amazing places that look extra special with your magic touch?
The one that's special to me is Caversham House.
Oh, very popular venue.
Will always be, yeah. That's my favourite venue to work with, and they're absolutely brilliant to work with.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Now, you also specialise, I understand, in a Macedonian wedding. Now, what makes a Macedonian wedding a little different from some of the traditional Australian or English weddings that we see commonly?
Loud.
Why not?
Yes. That's it. That's all there is to it. Big and loud. You've got a guest list of 300, 400, 500 people. Everyone comes together. It's just a big celebration.
Wonderful. And if all for two people, how romantic and wonderful to have all of these people. You can never be loved too much, I say. You can never have a big enough celebration for what is the biggest day of your life. Dealing with and impressing, because you don't have a wedding to not impress anybody generally, right? Especially if you've got a guest list of 500. What are some of the tactics that you can use to really make a statement? So is bigger always better?
Not all the time. No, it again all comes down to budget as well, and we can work with any budget. It depends on how much they want to spend and what they prefer to.
Naturally.
It's not always us that make the call. We can give them as many choices and options as they want, but they ultimately make the decision in the end.
How long have you been around in the industry?
We haven't been around for a lot. Well, we're coming up to about 1.5 years.
Oh, so you're still fresh. You've still got really fresh ideas, really fresh take.
Yes.
What makes you different from some other wedding stylists out there?
Oh, I wouldn't say different.
Fresh.
Fresh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. What are some of the main mistakes that you see people make when they're doing sort of a DIY job? Because you have to have a good eye for design if you're going to do something like that. You got to, you know.
You do. I mean, look, a lot of DIY brides do really well. But if I was to give any advice, is don't put too much on yourself. Because you've got the day to get ready, to come on time, and you've got the whole setting up to do as well. And you can't always rely on guests and on your bridesmaids,
Right.
on everyone else. So that's the biggest mistake, and that's where mostly can go wrong, is the time frame that they're trying to do it all in.
So delegate, people. Don't be afraid to delegate and hire people to help you, because it's tough.
It is.
It's tough. I mean, you were talking about, you know, when you're in the morning, if the bride's doing the majority of the heavy lifting with her bridal crew in tow, you don't want to have to be worried about setting up little centerpieces or putting table numbers out, all that kind of stuff. And you don't want to have to buy them all and then just have them there. You see the buy-sell pages on Facebook absolutely littered with table numbers and table runners and things. These are things that people have bought. So really, in essence, you can save money by hiring someone like yourself and just having those beautiful elements that are tried and true. You know that they work, you know that they look good in photographs, and just have them for the day. You leave them there. You'll pack them up.
That's it. Yes.
So how long is your day when you're, say, styling a typical wedding at Caversham House?
It could be a whole day from the morning, and we stop just about before reception starts, and then we're back midnight to pack up. Or if it's for our bigger weddings, it could be a 2-day process to where we are setting up from the day before, literally the whole day through into the night, and then come back for the final little touches the next day.
You know, do you people tend to want to have too much decoration? Like, keeping it simple, is that sometimes a good approach?
It is, yes. The less the better. But then again, we've got like the gold range that's coming up.
Right.
And you can never go wrong with that. I don't know if a lot of people have seen our photos of our new gold range.
And if they can't, where can they see them?
Yes, on Facebook, on our Facebook page.
Softweigh's
It's really
events.
popular at the minute, yes. And with that, and I think because my personal favourite, you can never have enough. And that's the particular one, actually, it got, had an editorial made.
Wow.
In Modern Wedding magazine.
Beautiful.
The styling handbook. And absolutely love it.
Fantastic. Now, if people want to see some more of your work, they obviously arrange a consultation with you first.
Yes.
What are some of the questions you ask in the consultation? Do you go to them? Do they come to you?
They come to me. I have a showroom set up in my home. Mainly, so I've got 2 little ones, so it's so much easier to work from
And
home.
also, you want, you don't want to cart all that stuff around. You want to be able to show people things. You want to be able to touch a table runner and go, yeah, that fabric is fabulous, or that kind of thing.
Yes.
So if, say, I was to come and sit down with you, what's the first thing you do to try and get a sense of my style and the groom's style?
That first is we ask them, do they have a style in mind? Most of the time is yes, most of the time is no, and that's when all the questions come in. Is their favourite colour, their favourite flower, and from all the questions they ask, we try and get a sense in what's their style and how best we can execute.
Well, we've got lovely Amela here for another couple of minutes. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask her about a design or about a style or about what's popular at the moment, feel free to send it through. We'd be very happy to ask. It's very, very easy to do. Peacock was a big style around about a year ago. Yes. Is that kind of on the decline?
It is.
So if you're planning peacock, you're either going to be really good for when that style comes back in, or perhaps you might want to maybe rethink. But there is no right or wrong.
No, there isn't. No. In the end, if peacock is what they really want, what they're really going to have, no one can say anything. It's their day. And if that's what's going to make it a little bit more special for them, then go for it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Pleasure.
We really appreciate it.
Having me.
So in addition to the Facebook page, how else can people get in touch with you?
Through our website, they can fill out the contacts form. It's sottisevents.com.au.
Sotty, S-O-T-T-Y-S, events.com.au.
Correct.
Wonderful. So contact them via the contact form, and everything should be fine. We look forward to seeing your business explode in coming months.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Amela Tajip from Sotty's Events. And coming up next, we will have our wedding planner after this very short break.
While our host is preparing the next guest, please take a look at some of the show's sponsors. We'll be back in just a minute. A wedding is probably the happiest day of your life, so memories of that day are equally important too. At Wedding Video Productions, we can preserve that memory for you without it costing you an arm and a leg. Apart from video, we can also handle all your precious photography too, and even provide a fun photo booth in one simple package, all for less than $2,000. Take a look at our Facebook page, Wedding Video Productions, or head off to our website at www.weddingvideoswa.com to see our many options.
Hi, it's Candice. If you're looking for a venue, why not consider the beautiful Friends restaurant in East Perth? If you're looking for a celebrant, contact me, 0433 977 167 or facebook.com/celebrations by Candice.
If you notice, we've had a tiny little bit of a set change. We've got some new beautiful flowers in the front here. I believe they're Oriental Liliums. It's about the only flower variety I know. They are my absolute favourite, and I can tell you they are so fragrant. So I understand that we've just had a lovely visitor come during the break and pop them in. So thank you very much. Francis, I'm told it's Francis. Thank you very much for supporting the show and for popping in today. It was lovely. Even though I didn't get to see you personally, I'm sure you're a wonderful person. Speaking of wonderful people, Cara Hammar.
Hello.
Hello. So
How are you?
Good, thank you. You're from First Kiss Weddings, and you are a wedding planner.
I am, yes.
How does a wedding planner differ from a wedding stylist?
Okay, so I like to see myself as a wedding personal assistant.
Very nice.
So I'm here to make the bride's day stress-free and make sure that everything absolutely goes to plan.
Wonderful, and we could all use a little bit of help. We were talking about delegating those tasks that you need. If all of it seems too hard, then call Cara and she'll do all the heavy lifting for you, which is really, really helpful. Now, what kind of vendors do you work with? What do the bride and groom still need to line up before they come and see you?
So the bride and groom can come to me at any stage of their wedding planning, if it's the day that they get engaged or whether it be the week before they get married. So yeah, we have a wide range of packages available, and basically we can either organise all your suppliers for you, or you can organise them yourself, and I'll just come in on the day and make sure that everything runs smoothly.
So it's like a day of coordinator type thing.
Absolutely.
So you offer that service also.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
make sure the mother of the bride isn't freaking out or anything.
Or anyone else for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, the emotions are high at wedding ceremonies, so I imagine that in your skill set you'd have to be a very good negotiator and people person, able to diffuse sometimes stressful situations.
Absolutely. If something goes wrong, you need someone that is focused and thinking appropriately to fix that. You need someone on the ball with attention to detail.
Someone who can step in, fix the problem, or at least find an alternate at the very last minute, and that's what you are best at.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So First Kiss Weddings, what a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Inspired by that initial flush of romance.
Yes. Basically the first kiss at your ceremony when they now pronounce you husband and wife. It's just, that feeling is just so special.
From your point of view, what's the most difficult part of your job?
None of it. I love it all.
It is easier when you love what you're doing, and when you build up a really good range of people that work around you, then, I mean, that's a really important part of your job. There is a lot of heavy lifting to do, and so you would delegate certain tasks also.
Absolutely. There's so many great suppliers out there, and I get assistance in on the day if required. Yeah, it's just magical.
And there are so many different types of ceremony that can get out there. If someone has a particular cultural need or has a huge ceremony or a smaller pop-up style, you can accommodate.
Absolutely. We love a wide range of weddings, so yeah, we can accommodate to everything.
For your typical ceremony, if there is ever such a thing, what's the guest list like? What range of people are you predominantly trying to entertain on the day?
We can do a wide range, anywhere between just your mum and dad to anywhere to 500 people.
Wow.
The average wedding these days is about 70 to 80 people.
And budget, how long is a piece of string? What are people spending these days roughly on their big day?
Yeah, normally about anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 for an average wedding. But yeah, you can do a wedding for under $5,000 if you want.
Simple, elegant, does the job.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Now, what is your favourite part of the day?
The ceremony, and it makes me cry every time.
I was about to say, are you a crier?
I am.
Little monogrammed handkerchief like this.
And also love the first dance as well. Just the connection and the love between the bride and groom is just magical. Wonderful.
Now, speaking practically, what kinds of vendors do you provide support for on the day? So on the big day of, you want to make sure that the celebrant is in place. Who else are you kind of just ticking off?
Yes, so all the suppliers that you need, celebrants, photographers, videographers, stylists, absolutely anyone that is a part of the day, I am there. I make contact with them all, make sure they all turn up on time and that they're doing their job properly.
So do you go from a run sheet or something like that? Do you have a timing list of, you know, what happens when?
Absolutely. So I sit down with the bride and groom and we create a run sheet together. I obviously add a few extra things in for myself to cross off.
Of course. Checklist?
Yep. And we just make sure that the day is magical. The bride has absolutely nothing to worry about. I'll always check in on the bride and groom while they're getting ready as well, and just to make sure that they're calm, have nothing to worry about, let them know that the groom is doing well and he's excited and getting ready. So that's always a good thing for a bride to know as well.
And of course the work doesn't end when the bride and groom finish for the day. There's of course the big pack down, which is you know, it means a long day for people like you.
Absolutely. So the pack down, we assist with that as well. Even to the next day, a lot of bride and grooms forget that suddenly they need to take everything home. So I assist the next day as well, meet up with them, make sure that they had a great night, and then help them take stuff back to their home if required.
As a day of coordinator, do you bring like a little emergency kit or anything like that to help deal with emergencies as they rise?
I do. It's about this big.
What sorts of things do you keep in there?
Everything from some Panadol to chalk. Chalk is amazing.
What would you use for chalk? What would you do?
So if your dress gets a little bit dirty or stained.
No way. Great idea. There's a tip for you already.
Yeah, chalk is amazing. You just cover it up and yeah, off we go. Photographer won't even notice.
There you go. Well, the photographer can always frame it out too if it's a really significant one, of course. And of course, things like the delivery of your product after the fact. So having cakes cut up and making sure a little bit is reserved for the bride and groom, like you tick that off, make sure that happens. And what about delivery of things like video and photo? Can you chase that up on the bride and groom's behalf if people need a little bit of a nudge?
Absolutely. The hardest thing is when brides and grooms, if they want to go on their honeymoon the next day, there's a lot of things that need to be done as well. If they hire suits, for example, they need to be returned back to the hire place. Your bouquets, if you wish to get them preserved, they have to be given to the florist straight away, pretty much the following day to be preserved.
So that's all stuff you can help with as well?
Yeah.
Wow,
so we want them
make it
just
easy.
to relax, go on their honeymoon, have a great time, and I'll deal with everything for them. I'm their personal assistant.
Very good. From the very first meeting, so let's say someone is super organised and they've been engaged for 2 months, and they've just set the wedding date. So you would be one of the first people they would call, ideally, in an ideal world. Because a week out, you're probably leaving it a little bit tight, but not impossible.
Yeah.
What are the first questions? What are the first things that you try and lock in?
So I tend to find out what sort of style they want for their wedding and how they envision their dream day. And from there, I have a list of recommended suppliers that I'm in contact with. And we'll start organising venues, celebrants, photographers, videographers. So all the big stuff we take care of first.
Wonderful. See, it's paparazzi in the room as well.
Absolutely.
So if anyone saw a little flash, that's what it is. Don't stress. It's all good. Chris is in here taking a few photographs just to capture the occasion. And, you know, much like your big day, you do want to capture memories as they happen. And with someone like yourself, it's pretty flawless, pretty foolproof.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. If people want to get in touch with you, Cara, how can they do it?
So we're on Facebook, First Kiss Weddings, or you can go email me at cara@firstkissweddings.com.au.
Wonderful. And so start thinking about what you want for your big day. If it all seems a little bit overwhelming, then someone like Cara can make it super, super simple for you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was lovely.
Wonderful. Well, you've seen 4 different suppliers today, 5 if you kind of count me, but it's not really about me today. And we will bring you some more suppliers very, very soon. So our next broadcast day, I'm told, is going to be the 28th of August. Normally we're going to do this on sort of a fortnightly basis, but we're going to delay 1 week because of the Big E Bridal Show, which is happening on the 20th and 21st of this month. So we're going to have have a chat to you again on the 28th of August instead. But don't close your connection, because as the show ends, we're going to broadcast apparently we're going to broadcast us all having coffee and snacks. I'm told there's coffee and snacks. I didn't know this, and I'm really excited now. So if you have any questions, you can stick with us, and we will give you some live responses on the camera. But in the meantime, we're going to come back in just a couple of minutes.